is the wife, and therefore this will be revealed when Mashiach will come. This is the ultimate goal, is this world, the dwelling place for Hashem, and therefore it will be revealed and the unique qualities that Zoh will receive from Malchus, and the Neshama will receive her energy from the body. The soul will receive from the body, which means the receiver the unique qualities and the roots of the receiver will be revealed to such an extent that they will be the givers.
Can you repeat that last part?
It's going to take about
Which
30
part?
years.
Just the last part about the giver.
It sounds so good that you want to hear
Zoh and Malchus?
Yeah.
The Zoh and Malchus, Zoh is the giver and Malchus the receiver. Now, the giver seems to be the higher one, the giver. But when Mashiach will come, because the ultimate intention and goal of what this world was created for will be revealed in its uniqueness, and it's in the most internal way, in most unique way. So therefore, in the most genuine way, so therefore it will be revealed the unique quality of the receiver over the giver. Because this world is the receiver. And this world will prove to be the real dwelling place for the Almighty. Yeah. So therefore, everything that attributes, relates to this world and to the making of the world and to the structure of the world, which is basically Malchus, will stand then on a higher level, because we'll see this is the ultimate goal. That's why we say Keser is Malchus. Keser, Iyu Malchus. It goes together. Malchus is rooted in Keser, in the level which is in the crown, which is even higher yet than Zoh. So this will be when Mashiach will come.
Well, in terms of practicality, if one is considering marriage, what would be one's attitude in terms of entering into a relationship, and what can one learn from the wife on a daily, practical basis? That's my question, really. I mean, the reality is that you don't want confusion in the marriage. You want it to be shalom, you want to have peace throughout the days. You don't want to be, fighting one another, whatever. You hear so many things.
There's a few things. There's one thing, every person has to know their place. They have to know their qualities. In addition to their qualities and their, talking more physically, their territory, they also need to acknowledge the wife who is their partner in life. And the wife that's partner in life, according to Chassidus, is the one that brings the blessings into the house. So therefore, it's very important that a person should work with the wife, make sure that the wife is comfortable. It says that even making the wife cry is something which is a very unheard of thing. The Talmud speaks about it in Bava Metzia. And in addition to that, I'll just mention an interesting experience that the Rebbe once mentioned, the Lubavitcher Rebbe. The Rebbe once was asked that it says that there's certain sgulas, certain different blessings when a person does certain things right after the Shabbos. After the Shabbos, the first thing is to fold up your talis. That's one of the things that's mentioned in the scriptures, because the talis will add to peace in the house. Why the talis? Because the wife is the one, the kala, that bought the talis for the husband.
Nice.
So therefore, it reminds right away. He has in mind his wife. The Rebbe says, I can't quote exactly because I'm not sure how the Rebbe said it. If the Rebbe said, I don't know if this is exactly the same thing, the Rebbe says one thing is definite that it'll work if you wrap up your sleeves and you start washing the dishes. That definitely will contribute to peace in the house. So this is basically, this is what it means practically.
And when you say bring the blessings in the house, the wife?
It says, La'aniach brocha el beisecha, is basically through challah, through the mitzvahs that is connected with the wife, commandments connected with the wife. In addition to that, the wife is the one that draws down from a higher root.
Receive, right.
I like to ask you a question?
No,
Okay, sorry.
So you're saying even now, Malchut is higher than...
The source of Malchus is now a receiver, but it's higher than... it's rooted higher.
It's rooted higher.
It's rooted higher, but it's actually only receiving now.
Right now. But when Mashiach will come,
it'll be revealed. And that's why we see an interesting thing. It says, Nekeva to save of Gover, that the wife surrounds the husband. That's why by a chuppah, it is the kala walks around the chassan 7 times. By you 2 times. By you 7 times. 3 times. Bayah 7 times. 7 is basically the 7 midas,
What do you mean by you?
the attributes.
Who does less?
Chabad, he says 3
Who
times.
does less?
Frankfurt am Main.
Oh, in Germany.
Germany, everything is okay.
Frankfurt, not Germany.
Frankfurt. And how many hours did they wait between milchiks and fleischiks and milchiks? Also 3 hours. Everything by them is a deal. Okay. Okay. The ikar is you shouldn't be yakish Frankfurt has a lot of customs, interesting customs. Frankfurt. There's svarim about Minhagi Frankfurt. But basically, thank you. I can pass it on. Yeah. Basically, the idea of Beis Hamikdash, we find a very interesting thing. In the temple, in the first and second temple, there was a certain area that was designated for the women's section. Third temple, it says they will be around and around the temple. Around, it'll be a bigger area.
Wow. Something new.
What does this show? Al pi Chassidus. I mean, we can possibly say based on Chassidus. When we say something is around and around, that shows that it encompasses everything. Comes from a higher source. Since when Mashiach will come, the receiver, the women, the Sheol Bnei Yisrael, the women, the Jewish women and daughters, are the ones that will, their quality will be revealed on the highest level. So therefore, in the Beis Hamikdash, it also show they're encompassing everything. It will be a bigger Ezras Noshim.
Even the circle is infinity.
Circle is in Europe infinity. There's no beginnings, no end.
I can ask you a question.
Yeah.
You mentioned that the reason why the woman has the attribute of beauty is because she's from the source of Malchut, which is kingship, kingdom.
But Malchus as it's lower, and that's why she needs a certain charm to attract a Rachamim from above. Because she finds herself in a level where she needs a certain attention, certain link, certain address from a higher level. This is Yud Gimel Midas HaRachamim. That's why we say Sheshana. Hareya B'Sheshanim. Sheshana is a rose. Sheshana also has 13 leaves. These are the 13 attributes of mercy.
The rose.
So they're rose. So this is basically Malchus. Malchus needs from a higher level because it finds itself on a level where, in a situation where it needs. He says al derech, like somebody finds himself in the dark and needs a bigger torch to illuminate. He says the same thing is also the jewelry by a woman. Same idea, bringing down to illuminate them because they find themselves in the level of Malchus, which they are relating to the world, and therefore they need that enhancement.
And what is the source of the man? Where's his Malchut also?
Malchus is Zoh. Malchus is actually, when we speak about Keser, Malchus comes from Atik, which is the higher level in Keser. This is the level that's called Atik, which means in Hebrew completely removed from world, and Zoh comes from Arich. Arich is the lower level in Keser, the external level of Keser.
Keser is the crown.
Right, the Keser, the crown.
High and low
So
level.
actually, these are like the two levels, the external level, what we mentioned earlier of Keser, and the internal, the genuine level of Keser, the Pnimius
So
HaKeser.
the man and the woman are taken from the same source.
Keser, but
Malchus-
one is the external, one is the
Okay, so my
Malchus
question
comes
is-
from a very high
So
level.
my question is, why does man need beauty? Why does a man need a woman? Why does a man need a woman? Why does a man look for beauty, inner beauty, outer beauty? Well,
Sometimes- okay,
a
so-
higher level. Is that
Let me explain a few different anecdotes that took place by different leaders of Chabad, and from this we'll understand what's going on. Number one, let's start with the Talmud. Talmud says in Sanhedrin that if a person, God forbid, if a person's wife passed away, especially the first wife, from the youth, so it says when a person's wife, God forbid if such a thing happened, what happens then? It says what happens then is, when that happens, that a person loses a certain intuition. The Talmud says, it says the advice of the person falls away.
Why?
Because this he's getting in the merit of his wife. If you look in Gemara, it's very interesting how the Talmud just mentions there are certain things, footsteps get shorter. The person becomes a half a person.
And we were discussing before you came, Rabbi Schneerson lost his wife.
Right.
Did that happen in his life?
Okay, so let me tell you what he did in his modesty. before his wife passed away, and this is what I had in mind, before his wife passed away, a week before, the Rebbe turned to Chassidim. Nobody had any idea what the Rebbe was saying. It was the first time they ever heard it. Not to turn any more for advice to him,
Wow.
and to turn to experts in the different fields, and that's it.
Wow.
When I got the news 5 in the morning that the Rebbe's wife passed away, the Rebbetzin, I right away reflected what the Rebbe was saying a week earlier, because the Talmud says it. Chassidim continued asking the Rebbe, and the Rebbe was as sharp as always. But dollars, everything continued. But the Rebbe did his part. When Tzemach Tzedek's wife passed away, it's very interesting. The Rebbe is named after Tzemach Tzedek, and the Rebbe's wife, the Rebbe is named after Tzemach Tzedek's wife. Both of them, the wives passed away in their lifetime. 5 years earlier by the Tzemach Tzedek. Tzemach Tzedek said, I don't have any more reason to go out to give over discourses. My channel of Malchus is not any longer with me.
Moshe, Rabbi Moses, his wife left him and they went to the father and he was alone by himself.
Right.
But still he had those insights coming from Hashem.
He had his insights
In a
coming
way
from
he
Hashem,
was-
right?
In a way he was like alone.
But what do we find by Mesha? We find the Inyan that he had a problem, speech impairment.
Aaron.
Moshe had it.
He did too?
Started.
Aaron was a spokesman. Aaron was a spokesman. Moshe was the one kvad pel, kvad lashon.
But initially only.
Right, but what does the Alter Rebbe explain? What does it mean? He is coming from the level of Eila Mateo, which is removed from world, and therefore he was not able to draw it down. He needed the channel of Aaron to be a spokesman.
But only for a while.
Only for a while, but Pashtas by Matan Torah, everybody was cured.
But also the Rebbe stopped teaching during the week. Only
Fabrengens, right.
only taught on
Gatherings,
Shabbos.
only Shabbos,
After
but
the
there were
Rebbe-
still talks going on, and there were still dollars, and there were still answers in writing. The Rebbe still corresponded with people. But it's the idea of, what I want to bring out is in regards to Tzemach Tzedek. Tzemach Tzedek says, I don't have the channel of Malchus. And he did not want to go out anymore to give discourses till his sons convinced him and said, the same way that it says, you found life with a wife, the same way you find life with Teda. But Shlomo Melech says that life means Teda, wife means Teda also. So therefore, they convinced him. Tzemach Tzedek started to come out and continue
So if
speaking.
one was remarried without being back to normal?
Yeah, but the Rabbeim never
No,
remarried.
I'm not talking about
Yeah,
it. I'm just saying in general.
it says the first wife,
First
the wife from youth, Eishes Neurim. Says that's the unique quality. That I mean, the Gemara speaks a whole lengthy conversation about it. It's really very strong. When somebody asked the Rebbe in 1988, Rebbe, an older chassid, he wasn't close with the Rebbe, but he was a rabbi himself in Philadelphia. He lived till about 98 years old. So he once told the Rebbe in that year, he says, Rebbe, let's go back to normal. The Rebbe says, people don't realize that the Talmud tells us what this means, what this signifies, what kind of loss this is. He says, you expect me to go back to normal? It's interesting. It shows what the wife contributes to the husband.
Even the Baal Shem Tov said